Hey friends, welcome back to Beyond the Ink, the podcast where Disney magic meets deck tech. So whether you're brand new to Lorcana, a casual player who just loves the lore, or a competitive grinder prepping for worlds, there is a seat at the table for you. So I'm your host Jen, and today is a super special one. I'm super excited. I am joined by my man JDZQuest as my co-host today, and you know him as a top Disney Lorcana content creator and one of the voices that will be casting this year's and the first one ever Disney Lorcana World Championship, which is coming up June 28th and 29th, I believe. And we are thrilled to welcome our guest today, someone whose deck lists have traveled across the globe, Earlmeister. So we know you for your creative brewing and metagame shaping, and we'll be talking decks, Reign of Jafar, and the state of the game. So let's dive in. So yeah, Earlmeister, for those of you who might not know you yet, give us a quick intro. Like, how'd you get into Lorcana, and what role do you play in the community?
Hello, everyone. My name is Earl. I'm known as Earlmeister in the community. I've been a streamer for a while now, actually. I started with digital card games, and I played that for years. I grew my community in different games. I pretty much tried every single card games out there, at least the digital ones, and then I got burned out because I'm staring at the screen for 8 hours a day and doing the same thing over and over again. So I switched to MMOs for like a year, and it was great. The job was amazing, but it wasn't for me. It felt like a job within another job if you join a guild as well. So I was looking for a card game. I tried out. I wanted to go back to card games, but I knew that digital card games is not it. So I went to look for some trading card games, some tabletop stuff, and I did Pokemon for like 2 3 months, and then I realized like there is so much I need to catch up on, and they announced Disney Lorcana, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna wait for that and prepare for it, and that's how I got into it. A friend told me about it. At first, I was skeptical. I'm like, I don't think I can take a deck seriously if it's called Lilo and Stitch or Timon and Pumbaa. And they're like, just test it out. The gameplay is amazing, and the cards are very, you know, they're so familiar for all of us because we all grew up watching Disney movies, shows, singing the songs, right? So I gave it a try, and I'm like, you're right. You're 100% right. And then from there, I got addicted. I was looking for some set one stuff. I can't find any. I was like 3 weeks late to the party when they finally got some products here in Scotland. And once I got my hands on Disney Lorcana, I knew right away that this is a title that I can play for a long, long time. The tabletop aspect of it, the social aspect of it, is what's really missing for my love for card games. Because digital card games, it can get really boring after a while because you're staring at the screen for many hours. But trading card games, I go out for league every Friday. I used to go like 2 3 times a week for different places. I don't care if I have to travel an hour and a half, but nowadays that I'm doing this full time, I now just do it once a week. And yeah, I create content for Disney Lorcana. I am a YouTuber. I am a Twitch streamer. I post a lot of my decks in my social media, in Facebook and Twitter, and also JD knows this. I mentioned this to him before, and I've mentioned this to other people in my chat that I'm also signing with a professional team that has not been announced yet, and I'm going to be competing full time on season 2 of Disney Lorcana DLCs, and I'll be traveling around the world, not just in Europe, but the pretty much the whole world.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. We
So
got
I'm very
Earl.
excited with that.
We got Earl locking in, man, getting it,
I
pushing it,
love
being a
that.
professional player. I love to see it. Like you said, I'm a Loremeister. Okay, I'm in there all the time. I'm a huge fan of you and everything you do for the community as well. And I am also a big fan of your deck building prowess. And when I think of you, you are a great player, but I really like to emphasize your ability to craft and create new and cool decks, new and unique strategies. So speaking of that, what does that process look like for you? Are you testing these things by yourself? Are you doing these things with a group? Are you already testing with that new team that you talked about? How does that process start from beginning to end for players who want to try to play unique strategies while still maintaining a competitive edge?
So the testing part really is just by myself right now. I don't usually go out of my way to test at the moment. I will do that once I'm with the team, and one of the reason why is the lack of time. Because if I'm gonna be testing, my priority is my content always. That's my goal, is to keep growing the brand, and testing. If I do that, it will take so many hours to do with friends, and I get all the invites as well, and I feel so bad saying no because I have to do stuff, but I test by myself. What I usually do is I will pull up a meta deck, and whatever I created, and I play with it just by staring at the two decks, right? And also I am obsessed with this game. So I've done this before with many card games or other games in general, where I'm really weird and I can close my eyes or just stare at something and go inside my head and play the game. And I think that that was built on me from an early time, because in Philippines, when we take tests, it's not like here in the West, where most of the tests is multiple choices. In Philippines, our tests in schools are always fill in the blanks. So you
Mm,
literally need to memorize what's on the book. And I think my memory got trained that way. That's why I can grab a meta deck and whatever I brewed, and I can just play it in my head. But with building decks, it usually starts with, what is my goal? Am I trying to be competitive, or am I trying to be fun? But my ultimate goal as well is to bridge the or to close the gap between um what do you call this, the competitive players and the casual players. So if I find a fun idea, I'm not just going to put, like, let's say Frozen deck, right?
mm,
Elsa and Anna. I'm not just going to put every single Elsa and Anna in there. I'm going to put the theme together, but also I want the deck to have a chance of winning, because winning is fun as well, right? It's not
mm,
always about winning, but I understand that, and I have decks that are like that too, where if this win once, I'm gonna celebrate, and that's my goal for the deck. But most of the time, it really depends. Like if I'm streaming and we want to be competitive, right? Then I'll create a competitive deck. If an idea sparks, like for example, a great example of this is Scrump. I bet
mm.
none of you guys know what Scrump do,
Oh,
right?
I know what Scrump does. Come on now.
Okay, okay,
I mean,
okay.
I feel
Most
like we
people,
need
at least, don't
this is
don't know.
JDZ's quiz. It's like, all right, there's no fill in the blank. It's just fill in the blank. There's no multiple choice here.
Do you know what Scrump does?
I would have to look it up. No, I'm over here like, man, you
Well,
guys are
99%
outshining me
of
here.
99% of the players in Disney Lorcana does not know what that card does, and it's a fun card, right? And big props to you, by the way, JD, for knowing what Scrump does.
Of
Big
course he
respect
does.
to that.
I do.
But
Scrump. It's going to be you have to exert a character to
uh-huh,
reduce an opponent or reduce any character on the board by two. Right?
I
Strength.
too, yeah, exactly. So like
I need to go to
that's
the school of JDZ. Dang, guys. I'm like pulling it over here like I'm gonna sit next to you in class and like write and like
yeah.
look over at his paper.
So that's a great example. Like, but we took the Scrump idea and we're like, let's create a deck around this card, and then we look at the meta. Once we figure out what the meta is doing, we then put cards in our deck that make sense. For example, if it's a steel heavy meta, then we need to make sure that we have characters that have high willpower in order to survive the 1, 2, 3, 4 curve, right? If it's a heavy ruby meta and people are running brawls, maybe Sisu's, Medusa, then maybe we need to focus more on having characters that has at least minimum 3 strength or higher. And that's basically the idea. And then from there, we use the knowledge of archetypes and all that, and then we build the deck, and then
So
we
for
test it out.
so for people that are newer to this, that are just jumping in, walk me through what is an archetype.
So an archetype is basically, for me, the personality of the deck. That's probably the easiest way to describe it. So the way I teach, because I coach a lot of people, and the way I teach them is that there are 3 main archetypes, and within those archetypes there are sub archetypes. But the 3 main archetypes is aggro, mid range, and control. So basically, what those 3 are, to simplify it, is that aggro is offense. It's all about going fast and questing. Control is defense. It's all about buying time for the end game, because all of your cards, once you hit end game, is going to dominate everything that your opponent is doing. And mid range is literally in the middle. It has a little bit of aggro aspect to it. It has a little bit of control aspect to it, and it's the most flexible but the hardest deck to probably play, because it's the least linear of all the 3 archetypes. And within those archetypes, there are sub archetypes, but I'm not gonna get into that because that's like 3 hours of like
Well, and that's
talking
what
about
coaching
that.
is for, right?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Or watch the stream. I talk about I do not like paywall everything that I do. I mean, JD goes to my stream. I am very generous with knowledge on the stream. I do a lot of Q&A sections for those people who want to learn more. The coaching really is for people who doesn't have a lot of time to tune into the stream to learn every single day, because they have a life. You have to go either take care of your kids or go to work or go to school. And if you don't have the luxury of time, then coaching is the way to go, because then you can gain hundreds of hours of knowledge within an hour or 2. Yeah, but the downside is you have to pay for that. Yeah.
I mean, time's money, right?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
I mean, so you talked a little bit about being aware of the meta. So how are you balancing creativity with the deck, especially looking into Reign of Jafar, which we'll come into, or we're getting a little bit more of the synergies and a lot more of the franchises added in. How are you balancing that creativity with meta awareness?
For me, it really depends what I'm in the mood for and what my crowd is in the mood for. If they want competitive stuff, then I usually would do that. If they want more fun stuff, then I usually would do that. Or sometimes I will make them vote. I will put a bunch of decks in a poll live on my stream, and everyone gets to vote. What do you want to watch for today? And then we'll create a deck around that color combination, or that a certain variant, and then we'll play. But for example, set 8 is coming, and I am really in the mood for the dogs, for Lady and the Tramp deck, lemon lime, and I've been cooking for that, and that's exactly what I'm gonna play on week 1. And then I already have a week 2 deck, which is the racers, because I think they did an amazing job making the racers come to life. So I'm gonna be playing that on week 2. And once I got all my desires out of the way, then I'll start asking chat, what do you want to see? Do you want me to counter the meta? Do you want me to create a different version of the current meta? Or should we take something fun? Like, for example, the Madrigal Musical is what I call it. Amber Amethyst is looking really fun this set with all these Amber Amethyst Madrigal cards. So yeah, it's basically going with the flow. Sometimes there's a plan, sometimes there's not, and yeah, whatever we're feeling that day, we'll do.
Now, JDZ, you stream a lot playing too. Like, what's the
Yep.
method to your madness?
Oh,
Looking into
my
deck
method,
building.
Jen, my method is virtually similar to what Earl is doing, but it's slightly different. Mine is a little bit more chaotic because on my stream I play a different deck every single day. And to do that, you have to kind of just be in touch with the community. A lot of people will send their decks in and say, "Hey, what do you think about this deck?" I'll say, "Hey, that deck looks cool," and I'll give it a shot. And when you do that, when you play a different deck every day, typically you're going to run out of really, really strong and powerful decks very early on in the set. And towards the end, that's when you got to start scrapping together, doing wild things. Like, so mine is a bit more laid back, a bit more casual. Sometimes we can come together and the stream will input ideas because I'll sit here, I'm not the world's greatest deck builder, but there are some very phenomenal deck builders in the community. They'll come by, they'll help me out, they'll share ideas, and we'll just kind of talk it through. And that's a lot of fun. Just that process of trying to say, hey, can we make Camilo Madrigal work? Okay, the card is terrible. It probably won't work, but the journey is kind of fun. And when it finally does work, there's the payoff at the end, and it's a really good time. And we do that virtually every day on my stream. And I'm gonna keep doing it as long as I can because I have all these cards. I love like because I'm more of the on the Disney side of it too. Like I like the franchises. I love the artwork. And I see these really cool cards, and I look at the meta reports, and a lot of these cards can't be played because they are virtually not meta relevant. So I think I owe them that, and I want to try to get as many cards played as possible. And that's kind of my goal and what I think about it, Jen, for sure.
I can't wait to see your decks when the Goofy movie is out. How many
Oh,
power line variants are you gonna make,
Oh,
JD?
that might be my new main deck. When that finally happens, Earl, it's done. Okay,
I
that
will
might be
fight
my
you
new
for
only
it. I
deck.
mean, I'll be right there with you. I feel like if I have any chance in life, JD, I've been trying to get my best friend to do the eye to eye dance with me at Disney for like the last 2 years. Like, I mean,
Okay,
I've sat here and practiced, but I feel like if I
I know the
have in
dance. You got
see, so
me. Meet me and
sweet,
we'll do it.
we'll have
No
to. I was
problem.
like, now I have my guy.
Yeah,
Like someone will do it with me. Like
100%.
that has been Goofy movies in my jam since it came out. I think I still have the CD.
Mm. Oh, so good.
I'll sing it while you guys dance it.
Thanks.
Yeah, you can just
JD
go
knows
and
I
bob
love
your
singing.
head. I mean, don't get
Absolutely.
me wrong, I'm like the world's worst dancer, but I feel like if you're having a good time, it like washes away how bad you are, you know? You're just like, oh
100%.
dude.
But it's all about having fun. It's like what me
Yeah.
and JD usually talk about when it comes to singing. It's all about having fun. Like JD knows I sing every day in my stream,
Yeah.
and I do not know the lyrics of the song, but I will still sing it anyways.
Yeah, exactly,
We
exactly.
should work on
The
that.
music
I
speaks
feel like
through.
we need to like get it, if it's Disney, we've got to improve this. This is a skill
No, he
set
sings
that I
everything.
have.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be Disney.
Oh,
He's got
well.
a wide arrangement of songs he can get into. Lyrics,
None of them have the right
lyrics
lyrics.
optional.
It's
No, no, I
optional.
will.
Yeah, I like that.
You just hum is where we're at. We're just humming at this point. Well, so Earlmeister, you mentioned, I think you did too, JD as well, but we have Reign of Jafar dropping this Friday, and I feel like we're all hyped. But so, what are your guys' first impression of the new
Mm.
set, Earlmeister? If you wanna take us first with that.
I'm super excited for set 8 because everything that they did on set 7 now makes sense. Because they introduced us all these dual ink color cards, and a lot of them are like, huh? And you're wondering like, okay, but this is not what this deck is trying to do before. And now that set 8 is out, they're like, we're doubling down on that. And now you can actually create that variant just for this color pairing. But at the same time, you can still play the other variants that you've been playing this whole time. And that's probably my favorite part of set 8. Like what I said, the Amber Amethyst Madrigal Musical. It's what I call it. The Lady and the Tramp Lemon Lime. The Amber Ruby Racers. Although I still think Emerald Ruby still needs a little bit more. That
Yeah.
one is a little funky, but pretty much all of it is making a lot of sense now that set 8 is out. I think that's the most hype part and the most fun part, aside from Palace Heist. I
Mm.
love soloing all these Illumineers quests. I can sit for 10 hours a day, brew decks, and try to challenge myself in extreme mode and have fun with it.
I love it.
That's gonna be tough. That's tough. That's gonna be tough. I don't. I like this set a lot. I'm actually extremely excited for it too, for all the reasons Earl stated. But also, I love looking at these new enchanted arts that they did. I thought they went above and beyond with the enchanted printings that they issued out, man. And I don't know how they continue to one up themselves with the artwork that
Yeah.
they're doing there, and just the story. Again, I like to follow the lore. I like to follow the story to see where that whole thing goes. I'm excited to read all those lore cards, and also just the new deck building opportunities. You got the illusions are in there. You have like there's so many different things. This new Riot card, you have the new Namari card, you have these new legendaries, and they seem to push the game to the next level, but just not so much to the point where these cards are broken, the game feels imbalanced, and your old cards that you do have are still viable, even though we are going into rotation that next set. The cards you have, and it just completes these unique identities and unique strategies. So I'm super excited for it. I think they knocked it out of the park. I think these cards are going to be great. I think it's going to add a lot of new texture to the game. New decks are going to come in, and I think people are going to be really excited for Reign of Jafar. I'm looking. What Jen? What cards are you looking for most to? What do you want to see?
Oh man, I'm really excited on the fun side of things to be able to build a little bit more theme decks. I love a good movie deck, and we haven't really been able to fully do that yet. So getting a lot more cards in to support several of the other franchises is exciting for me. I typically like playing off meta. Granted, this is my first TCG, so I hear that that's what new players like doing, but I also just like need to swim against the flow for my sanity. I'll pick up a meta deck every and learn it and practice with it, but I usually like coming up with whatever weird
Mhm.
mix of a card that I'm going to try to make work at the beginning. I have been really last set I really was testing Ruby Steel, and I'm really excited this set to kind of start making that work with the new Mushu.
Mhm.
There's several other things that'll be fun. Will it win me a set top 8? I don't know, but I have so much fun with that deck. I really could care less. Now it's just about getting a little bit more card draw support. So
Mm.
I mean, I'm with you. I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see now what we're working with before rotations. But I just feel like there's more ways to play the game now than what we had.
Yeah.
I still think we're going to be seeing a lot of the same meta decks. The top tier decks, I don't think are going to change heavily with maybe one or two cards, but I feel like there's more opportunities for rogue decks to kind of come up and pop out for us.
Oh, for sure.
But kind of speaking of that, you kind of were asking JDZ, what standout cards do you think are really going to shake things up this set?
Oh, for this set.
Yeah,
Oh, it's gonna be 100%. I think it's gonna be his card Over the Horizon. Oh, go Beyond the Horizon,
beyond
not
the
Over the
Beyond the
Horizon. I'm
horizon.
sorry.
Yeah.
horizon. Beyond
Beyond
the horizon.
there you go.
Ba-da-da-dum-da-dum-dum-da-da-da.
There. Yeah. I think the Beyond the Horizon is going to be one of those cards that we talk about going into the future because personally, I feel that card is very powerful. I feel like that card should have came out in set 9 because there are so many cards in this set or in previous sets that have come out so far. You're talking Prince John, you're talking Ursula, Deceiver of All, you're talking Cindy, you're talking the very strong singers that soon will be rotated out to make this card a little bit more balanced. But I do think just the way that the current game is structured, I think that card might be a bit too powerful. Granted, I know players will be able to adapt and figure it out, so I'm not thinking it's going to break the game too much. But I think that card probably is going to be one that shapes and warps the metagame along with Namari. I think that card is incredibly impactful. I really am looking out for that new Prince John as well. I think that card, people are sleeping on that card. I think that card is going to have a significant meta impact. I could be
Three
way
cost
off.
5/5.
3 cost 5/5. I think that guy's going to do some work. Earl, what do you think? Am I
I
wrong?
like
Am I off
that.
base?
I like that card a lot. I don't think that Prince John is in the same level though as
Mhm.
Beyond the
Oh,
Horizon.
it's not even
I
close. Not even close.
100% agree with Beyond the Horizon. Um, but I think there are ways to combat those type of decks still. But it's one of those cards that's going to be really annoying, especially in green steel. But
Hmm.
it takes them a lot to at least like set up for it compared to Steel Song where they can sing that on turn 3, right?
Hmm.
Because they can play Cinderella on turn 1, singer 4 on turn 2, turn 3 sing it, but drop a bunch of characters and sing it, and now you have board advantage, card advantage as well.
Right.
Yeah. But for me, it's Beyond the Horizon and Jeweled Color. I think
Mm.
if the green blue players figure out a way to make the deck ultra megatonic, I think that's going to be more annoying than Beyond the Horizon, because now every time you challenge a character, your opponent ramps.
Mm.
And if you are not running any actions, or you don't have enough actions to deal with their board, then you're just going to race them, because every time you hit them, there's a big downside to it. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and
I'm pulling up the card since like I'm
and
not JDZ and I
And
didn't
and
do my
and
homework.
honestly, or when I first read that card, Jewel Collar, I thought it was
Mhm.
when the character is challenged and banished. It's only when they're challenged. So even
Yeah.
if you trade or you take a value loss and you crash into a character and your character gets banished, it still will ramp them. So that is a very interesting take. And I think
Yeah.
someone might be able to figure that out. I know you're working on it. I know some other players might be working on it too, but that is actually quite interesting, man.
So
If,
my
if your
question,
character has a lot of willpower, they have
Yeah.
to challenge that multiple times, and that's multiple ramp for your opponent. Like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, so here's my one question on it. I know that there was a bit when One Jump Ahead was like, "Oh, we're not playing this anymore because I can't see what's going into my inkwell." Does
Mhm.
that do you think that's going to affect gameplay heavily with that?
I mean, I don't think that matters that much if you can create a deck that is not reliant on one win condition only. And the thing is that most decks nowadays have multiple win conditions that you can have. For example, like red blue has sharks, has manners, has tamatoas. There's three different win conditions that they can have. They're Some of them don't even run dime anymore.
Mm.
So yeah, as long as you can build your deck to not be reliant with one win condition, and you should never do that anyways. We have 10 million cards now. We're no longer at like set 3, set 2, or set 4, where you're so reliant on just like one type of win condition. I don't think it would matter that much, but that like ramp that you get for getting challenge is huge in my opinion.
No, that's super cool. Well, speaking of ink pairings, let's kind of talk about worlds. So we'll kind of get into some of the I was a little shocked, JDZ, when they announced how they're going to do that, but you'll be one of the casters that weekend, which is super exciting. Congrats, man. That's
Thank you.
like,
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm like, oh, we
Congratulations.
have like one of the best Disney adults I know in house, like going to do us proud. But tell us a little bit about what that experience is going to look like, what we should be watching for, what we can expect.
Okay, first I gotta say I'm super grateful and thank you so much for those kind words. I'm excited to be there in the facilities. You guys have no idea how hard I am working, and the rest of the broadcast team. We're behind the scenes putting in the work to ensure that this broadcast is going to be one of the best broadcasts that you've ever seen. I think that we're going to try to live up to that, just to try to tell that story, because it is unfortunate that the player pool is not going to be allowed to be a part of the experience. So we're going to try to make sure we deliver that as professionally and as entertaining as possible. So what I think it's going to look like, it might be kind of a challenge for us because we are going to have to commentate over a sealed portion. I'm sure you guys heard that news, Jen. There's going to be a sealed portion that is going to be a part of the World Championship, which I think is super interesting. So you have to learn those cards. You have to understand these decks. Hopefully, they allow us to be a part of that deck building experience with those players. I'd love to feature that. Maybe show a table of players putting those deck lists together, what cards they're drafting, how they would go through a seal, because I know everyone has played seal and everyone will have their own strengths and weaknesses of tendencies that they like to have. Also, getting into the conquest portion, the triple deck format. We call it triple deck format, not I think that's going to be extremely intriguing. There's so many storylines and plot points that I think we could illuminate. What players are going to bring, how are they going to play that? Are they going to play within the confines of the rules, or are they going to try to out strategize the game and play outside the box, bringing unique color pairings that they wouldn't typically play if they can use the rules of the game as some type of pseudo ban list. Like, hey, I'll ban Ruby, I'll ban Sisu, ban Be Prepared, and I'll play this super aggro deck, or I'll ban Steel and I'll play this super low willpower deck. And that could be a strategy that these players could implement. So these are all things that I'm watching for. These are all things that I'm looking for, because I love the players, I love the game, but I also like the strategical expression that these players are going to have to be able to deploy in order to win this title. Like, this is, you're going to have to be an all encompassed phenomenal player ultra mega tonic, as Earl would say, if you want to win this thing, because you can't just come in with one skill. You have to be able to demonstrate all the skills, play all the decks, build decks, draft. See, you have to do it all in order to do this. And I think that's a phenomenal job that they did to come up with with a system like this to make this so special and important. That's my take on it. I'm sorry, I'm ranting, but rant complete.
No, yeah, the sealed is super interesting. I actually had a friend, Lorcana Rogue, that judges a lot of the Lorcana events for PPG. He like was running the math. He was like, all right, it's an 89 card pool on average for 16 packs, 3 inks, 48 will be common, 13 rare, 2 super rare, and 1 legendary, like kind of working it down. So I'm interested, hopefully, for like you guys or for Rebecca Quest to kind of find out at the event, like, all right,
Mhm.
how did you guys prepare for this? Because this is not a format that any of these guys have competed in with Lorcana. I know we have some players that have, played other games in the past, like Magic, that might have that, but Lorcana, we haven't seen that. So, yeah, it's gonna be wild. I wonder if we're gonna see it brought on a more local scale, or if that's gonna be something that happens at DLCs moving forward.
And then to your point, like you can't practice this either. There's no like, oh, I'm gonna just do a bunch of sips. That'd be very expensive. Maybe they have like simulators you can use or some type of thing where you can just kind of take random cards from your bulk or something and put it together. But it won't be the same as that real time experience because you'll only have 1 hour to put that deck together as well. But we got Earl here. Earl, what would you do in this situation? What would be your approach to going into this sealed event? What would be your approach going into this conquest event if you were going to be there as a triple deck player trying to compete for worlds? You have 1 hour to make this sealed deck. What's your unique strategy you would use?
I think if I was a world's competitor right now, I will take that as an advantage. I know it sounds so arrogant of me to say that, but that's because I mentioned earlier on the podcast that I played a lot of digital card games, and that is our format for every
Mm,
single tournament. Is that we bring 3 decks and you can ban one. For the conquest or the triple deck format, Lorcana right now is in a spot where there's really only 2 control decks that are being played. The other control decks are not actual control decks; they are mid-range control decks, which means that um, mid-range decks, if they can ban control decks, they can go wild because now there's no BPref like what you mentioned. There's
mhm,
no board wipe that's happening. For example, Steel Song. Steel Song's biggest weakness is blue red, right?
mhm,
And there are other decks that can tuck into Steel Song that can make their matchup better against Steel Song. But like Steel Song is going to be one of the best decks, in my opinion, in the format. And so is Green Steel. Both of them are mid-range control decks that I don't know if this is the right word, abuses a certain mechanic in Disney Lorcana,
mhm.
which is singing songs. Other card games don't have that, where you can play an action for free by exerting your character. And I think those two color pairings take that to the next level. So if I were a competitor there, I wouldn't even bring a control deck. I would just
Mm.
bring 3 mid-range decks because the thing is mid-range beats aggro anyways, so I don't have to worry about aggro. I just need to ban control deck, and the 3 mid-range decks will handle the rest of the game for draft. On the other hand, I literally play 2 3 of them every set release, and if there is any other events around here, I play them. I love it. The excitement of opening packs number one is there, and at the same time it's like, what am I going to get now? As you mentioned earlier, I create a lot of decks, so for me that is the game mode for me, because now you mean to say I get to not just play against other people, but I in the beginning I also get to build a very unique deck that probably will never be get built the same way again, and that for me is exciting. And I studied that a lot too. But I can understand though why some of the world's player are complaining right now, because it is a kind of a curveball. But you're a world's player.
Mhm.
You're very smart. You have a month and a half. We don't know when you got the news of when this is happening. So that X amount of time to like prepare for this. If there's anyone in the world who can prepare for such competition, it's gonna be one of you. So I think they will be fine by the time that the world's come.
for sure.
I like it. And I'm excited just from the casual player base or people that are getting into the game that it really showcases not the same 3 or 4 decks that we usually see on stream. So they're going to get to see, I'm guessing, a decent mix of things. Although I wonder, it'll be funny if we start seeing a theme. I mean, talking about color pairings, I know you mentioned that you would do mid range. What would your, top of mind, what would your color pairings be that you would bring?
The color pairings that I would it's really difficult, right? Because we're at set 7 right now. I can't answer that for like set 8 because set 8 is going to be a complete different
Mm.
game. If right now I was to go in, I would bring green, purple, discard, steel song, and blue red. And most
Mm.
likely, most players will ban blue red from those 3, and then I will have 2 mid-range decks. I would still bring the blue red just because it's an amazing deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if that's what they want to ban, I'll play 2 decks that is very comfortable for me because I love playing mid-range. I think those are the 3 strongest pairing at the moment for set 7.
I think you should bring Blurple and ban Steel Song. I think that's a slam dunk. I love Blurple right now, Sapphire Amethyst. I think that deck is very strong, and I think it's only going to get better. You got no Steel Song to compete with you. Nothing's taking you down. I think I have a fair game against every other deck except for that Steel Song strategy. Get it out of here, and I can punch my own ticket. Whatever the other decks are, we can figure that out. But I think Sapphire Amethyst has to be one for
Blurple's way
sure.
to go. Well, so we kind of almost you kind of walked us through how you would prep. JDZ, you mentioned that you guys are doing a lot of work getting ready for Worlds. Like, can you
Mhm.
let us in on the secret sauce? Like, other than making sure you know what scrump is, like what kind of mental weights are you lifting? Are you watching
Absolutely.
all of the Disney? Like, are you getting some Disney Plus hours in? Like,
100
what are we doing?
Jen, you nailed it. I'm watching all the Disney movies, okay? We're starting in a row and we're just putting them all on the Disney Plus and going through the list. Okay, we're just watching Disney movies every night. I'm broadcasting as much as I possibly can. I did a tournament this past weekend with Enter the Battlefield. Shout out to them. I'm doing another one with Ink Invitational. Shout out to them. I do the ICL every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm just trying to get as many reps as I can doing broadcasting work just to keep the stamina up. I'm studying the card pool. Shout out to Lorcana Bell. She's actually given us tests of cards and what they do, what the effects are, how can you apply those things, what do they combo with, and it's really helping. Just trying to learn the card pool because commentating over a limited pool, you have to know exactly what all of the cards are and how they are going to be able to interact with other cards that the other players may have used in order to be able to provide real-time feedback of the insights of what those players might be doing. So it's going to be a real challenge, but I'm actively studying. I study the cards every night. Like I said, stream every day. I play a new deck every day. So I'm learning the cards. I'm engaging with these new cards and it locks into my brain a little bit better. And that's not just me. Everyone on the broadcast team is doing that, just trying to prepare to ensure that we are ready to go. And I'm really excited to be in there doing that. You have no idea how motivated I am to do this.
I'm hoping maybe Powerline might have like a fit appearance, you know.
That'd be
You
nice.
gotta maybe, yeah. Yeah, no, I think, and we always talk about how hard the players are working. You think about that, but the casters, like you're saying, I mean, put in just as much work to kind of get behind the scenes because if you ever try to watch, any of these streams on mute, it's just not there. Because if it weren't for you guys, like we would have no idea what's going on,
Hmm.
having the background and color. It's what really brings the players' hard work and the vibe of the room to life because you can't really see or hear if you're not there. And in this case, no one else is going to be there but you guys just to kind of
Yeah.
really bring the vibe and create the vibe from that. So, I mean, I feel like challenge accepted, and I feel like you guys are going to have your own win at the end of this once we get done. I'm excited to watch.
Absolutely,
Well,
absolutely.
sweet.
It's gonna be
So,
nice. I know people are already planning their watch parties all over. So if that's you, make sure you guys tune into the stream. It's gonna be great, and hopefully, people it becomes a vibe, a nice memory. I know there's gonna be restreams all over the place. There's gonna be all sorts of events that are taking place in your local game stores and whatnot. So hopefully, people have a good time with it, and maybe next year we'll get everybody into the venue and do this thing the right way.
yeah, for sure. Well, so Earlmeister, kind of looking at advice for brewers and the community in general, what advice would you give to players who are ready to kind of start brewing their own decks but might be a little overwhelmed as we go into this Reign of Jafar?
Start now and do it more. Just like a lot of things in life, brewing decks is like a muscle, right? The more you do it, the better it becomes, the stronger it becomes. Obviously, you can't just keep brewing decks and then expect that your 100th brew would be better. There are other like steps that you can take along the way, but if you keep doing it at the same time, you pay attention to the meta, you pay attention to the game mechanics. Eventually, you'll get there. But if you don't start now or you don't constantly do it, you're never gonna get there.
Mm.
So it's very intimidating at first. I've been there, especially with the very first card game that I got competitive with, and Disney Lorcana set one. It was very intimidating as well, but at the same time, I'm excited to like create something that could work, you know, and it doesn't always work. It
Mhm.
doesn't always work. I know there are decks that in my stream that sometimes it just looks like it instantly works like that. I would say nowadays 70% of the things that I brew usually works. But before it got there, I started with like 10% or 20% of the things that I brew works and the rest is all failure. But if I stop because of those failures, I wouldn't have gotten to this spot right now with deck brewing, and I just kept going. Just keep doing it. That's my
Nice.
Yeah.
advice.
When we have a great community, so I mean, I know that you're posting a lot in several different channels and Facebook. We have a lot of creators that are on X. I think you mentioned this earlier, but grabbing a deck from that works really well, that's winning things, and starting there, and then just asking yourself like, what are my weaknesses? But there's so much support. I've never been in a community that's so kind. I mean, everyone's really helpful. They'll point you in the right direction. There's just thousands of strangers that are willing to like give anyone deck advice or help them out or jam some games online or over webcam. So that's, I don't know. It's super cool. It's a cool thing to be part of.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I want to add as well is that ignore what others would say. Because there's always that, like what you said, the community is amazing. But there's always that one person that will try to bring you down. And that person is the loudest in your head, in my opinion. Because everyone else is saying the same thing. And that one person that disagrees with you or like puts you down, sometimes it can get to your head. Learn how to block that and just do what you think is best for you. Some people keep saying if you don't play meta, you're just gonna lose. I completely disagree. Like what I said earlier, I coach so many people, and I'm gonna be doing a post about this in a day or two. One of my student, which will be my highlight student for this for set 7, he came to me and said, "I love locations, help me."
Mm.
And I'm like, okay, I love locations too. And I don't believe that only tier 1 decks can win. I coached him with purple steel locations. The dude went to 8 different set champs, won 2 of them, second place in 2 of them, top 4 in 2 of them, and top 8 on 2 of them.
Let's
Not
go.
once did he not get into top 8. And he
That's
did
huge.
that with a deck that he loves, right? But if you listen to the other people where they're like, locations is a meme. I mean, the deck is running 24 locations, right?
Mhm.
If you listen to those people, he wouldn't have been able to do that. And now I'm so proud of him. At the same time, he achieved this goal having fun, because that is the main goal. Have fun. It doesn't matter if you win or lose, unless obviously your goal is like DKP to be number 1 in the world. Unless that is your goal, if you're just playing on a set champs or local tournaments, do it your way and have a good time, win or lose.
Some good stuff, man. Good words. Good words. I
Yeah.
like that.
I love it. Well, before we wrap, let's hit you both a little Disney lightning round. So,
Uh-oh.
first thing that comes to mind, are we ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah.
All right. JDZ, you go first, followed by Earlmeister. Got
Okay.
it? All right. Favorite Disney character of all time?
Goofy, 100%. Case closed. He is the GOAT.
Stitch.
Do you have like a favorite Stitch?
I would say Rockstar Stitch. I thought he
Your
was
jam.
really cool in the beach when he was playing, and everyone's
Moving
like,
and
"Oh
grooving.
my god!"
I love it. All right. So, first part of this, JDZ, hero or villain?
I'm always gonna be. I guess I got to be team hero. If I had to say, I would classify myself as a hero for sure.
What about your Earlmeister?
In the middle. John Silver is one of my favorite characters. I
Nice.
don't consider him as a villain. I don't consider him as a hero. He's just in the middle. He like symbolizes almost like a real life person. Because a lot of us has a yin and a yang, whether we like it or not. And I
Hmm.
think that he is like Disney did a great job showing us that through John Silver.
Oh, I love
That's
it.
cool.
All right. So, favorite Lorcana card to play?
Oh, for me, favorite Lorcana card has got to be Tinkerbell Giant Fairy. I just think that is one of the first cards that I played in like a competitive fashion. And whenever, she hits the board, whenever she does her thing, whenever she's popping out, she's not as good now as she used to be. But when she's really good, she's great. And the artwork is just seems so cool. Tinkerbell Giant Fairy, case closed.
Merlin Crab. I love Merlin Crab. That card just basically says, "Go on, exert." Going into turn 3, let's see what's gonna happen. And I think one of the things as well as a creator is I am very well known for my love for Merlin Crab. It's the most card that I've signed. I've signed like 300 of those card. People ask me with their deck, like, pick a card and sign one, and I'm like, oh, enchanted, cool. Oh, Merlin Crab. That's what we're gonna sign
Let's
because
go.
it's just such a boss card. You know,
Yeah.
it just tells you that you can't exert. If you do, my one cost is gonna turn into a giant fairy. You know,
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna take you out. And the thing as well is that his presence on the board is he's a menace. You know, if you continue to exert, he'll take out another character and buff another character, and that character will take out another character as well.
I love
Yeah.
it. So, what about favorite Disney card to look at, JDZ? What's the prettiest one you've seen?
The prettiest card I've seen is going to be Aurora Waking Beauty. That is the best, the enchanted one. Enchanted Aurora Waking Beauty, the best looking Disney kind of card I think that's printed. Close second, the Shimmering Skies Enchanted Mufasa. That's the second place. Waking Beauty, can't touch it. I think that card is so clean.
For me, it's Mufasa. 8 cost Mufasa, not
Yeah.
my favorite 5 cost Mufasa. The art in there is cool, but like the 8 cost Mufasa is just it's beautiful. It's majestic.
Hmm.
Majestic, I love it. I'm really looking like you mentioned earlier, JDZ. There's such pretty cards this set. I really like the it means no worries card, the new Lion King card.
Hmm.
It's boss. I will hang that on the wall. I wish I could buy like a large print of it. I think we might have asked this, so I might be cheating, but favorite Disney movie.
Oh, you already know for me, it's gonna be I'm kidding, it's gonna be Goofy movie. Case closed. I mean, the movie is great. I think the movie is phenomenal. People sleep on it. There's no villain, there's no wicked person, there's no bad guy. It's just literally the villain is life. Okay. It's growing coming of age story. You watch it as a kid, you see it one way, you watch it as an adult, you see it a different way, and it's just a great movie overall. If you haven't seen it, please go out there and watch
Well,
it. It
and
is phenomenal.
Powerline is just goaded. Like,
Absolutely insane.
yeah,
Oh, Powerline insane.
yeah,
Movies nuts, man.
Mhm.
What
Is it
about
my
you,
turn?
Earl?
yeah.
Oh,
Your turn.
I would say Lilo and Stitch because, like what I said, I love Stitch, and one of the reasons why is that growing up, this is a little sad, and I'm not trying to make everyone sad. My parents went overseas very early. I was 6 years old when my mom went away, and my dad was MIA at the time. And Stitch is kind of like that. He doesn't have any parents. He doesn't have any family, and then eventually he finds one, and that's always like what I've wanted. And now I'm in that point in my life where I found my Ohana, and
Right.
I just think that he's also just like a rascal, but deep inside he's a really good creature, you know. And that's how I felt like growing up. Like I was a rascal, but I knew deep inside that I was, you know, good.
Dude, I love it. That's like so heartfelt. I'm like, This is so sweet. I love it. Well, thank you both so much, Earlmeister, for sharing your brain with us, and JDZ for co-hosting with me and giving us a behind-the-scene look at Worlds. Tell us where we can find you, JDZ. Where can people find you and your
Oh,
content and all the things that you do?
well, I'm JDZQuest, no S, just JDZQuest on Twitch, on YouTube, on X, on everywhere, Instagram. You guys check me out. I stream on Twitch almost every day, Monday through Friday, and on YouTube I put out videos maybe 2-3 times a week, depending on how it goes. But Twitch, YouTube, I'm out there. JDZQuest. Thank you guys so much for letting me be, and thank you, Jen, for letting me be here with you.
Yeah,
It's been
no,
great.
thanks for coming. It's
Of
always a
course.
good time with you. What about you, Earlmeister? Where can we find you?
I'm Earlmeister on Twitch. I'm Earlmeister on YouTube. I'm Earlmeister on Facebook and Twitter, and also on Instagram, and pretty soon TikTok as well. I'm gonna try to do some of that. But if you really want to find my posts all the time, if you can't catch any of my live streams, I post a lot on those socials, especially Facebook, the Facebook group. I'm always there.
I like how JDZ is like moving and grooving. See, if you get
Oh,
on
that's nice.
TikTok, Earlmeister, you're gonna have to start doing these viral dances.
That's what I'm saying. That's a TikTok. That's my doing a TikTok dance.
Yeah.
When there's
Can
one,
I just sing the songs with the wrong lyrics? Is that acceptable in TikTok?
you gotta. I don't know. I gotta use. I have a TikTok, but I don't use. I gotta use it more often too. It's just it seems out of my age bracket, I suppose.
I know how you
Come on.
feel.
Jeez, now you're aging all of us. Come on, give us some hope. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And if you're listening and loving what you heard, don't forget to follow, subscribe, and tag us with your favorite moments. And make sure you find Earlmeister and JDZQuest on all the platforms they said. And as always, may your draws be magical, your ink never run out, and your favorite villain finally get their own alt art. See you next time on Beyond the Ink.